Everyone, welcome to tonight's post-match press conference after a game against Vancouver. We have head coach Pascal Jansen. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll get started in the room with Har.
Pascal, your overall thoughts on the match tonight?
A well-deserved win for Vancouver. They were better than us today, even though we were able to get a good amount of possession today. We were also sloppy, and the topic that we were discussing throughout the week, intensity and defensive urgency, is something that was not there for the 100% today. So you get done in two detailed moments, and then Vancouver is too good to let these chances slip by. But overall, yeah, a well-deserved win for Vancouver, I think.
Your team had a lot of jump, a lot of pace after halftime. Did you have a message or anything of emphasis to get the boys going when the second half started?
Yeah, because as I mentioned just now in the first half, the turnovers for our quality were way too many. So easy loss of possession. I thought we were a little bit in a rush also the first half and not accurate enough going into the final third. So a little more emphasis on making sure that we use the spare people in the middle in order to switch play and then try to get into the final third. So we also control the turnovers better. So I think the second half showed that, but then again, once you switch off just one moment, then you get punished in the final phase of the game with the second goal.
This is going to be a World Cup host city. There's going to be a lot of matches here. What was your thoughts on the overall crowd, 25,000, the atmosphere for the venue?
Yeah, very positive. You can see the crowd is very engaged. It's a beautiful stadium. The only issue I have personally is the fact that it's turf. I think that should not be a part of the game at the level that we play. So I hope in the near future it will be natural grass. I know it's going to change during the World Cup because there will be a field in place, but that is something. That's my personal view on turf. I would like to see natural grass all over the MLS.
You brought up the turf. It wasn't me this time. Coach Marsh of Canada had some things to say about this pitch in New York, about it being the worst in professional sports. How do you compare
which field is that?
The one that you play on in Yankee Stadium.
Your
overall thoughts, because you just mentioned the Vancouver pitch. He's talking about your pitch, the comparison, or how do you rate those?
Yeah, at least the one that we play on, either Citi Field or Yankee, is natural grass. Obviously, it's a baseball stadium, so it's not ideal, but it's natural grass. But also not 100% perfect fit either, because I think once the people see our new stadium next year in 27, it's going to be way better, and I think that's the way it should be.
You have a long flight and a quick match coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to work on? How do you get that quick turnaround? A bit of jet lag too, maybe?
No, it's something that we have to deal with. It's part of the MLS, and flying a lot and making sure that you recover fast is part of the program. So that is already starting now. We fly back, and tomorrow is regen, and then we have to make sure that we're ready on Tuesday, and I have no doubt that will be the case.
You had a lot of players out with leg injuries. Will you be getting any of them back for Tuesday, or maybe Mr. Martins as well?
Thiago was out with a minor injury in his right thigh. We'll have to see how quick he progresses, but I'm not worried about that. The other guys have long-term injuries, unfortunately, so those guys we have to wait a little longer, but the other guys, I have no doubt.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Michael Allen.
And Coach Michael Allen from Pro Soccer and Blue City Radio.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how you doing? Sorry about the results tonight. Given the results of the last game, them scoring at the end of the half, and then both goals today coming at the end of the half, does that represent a disturbing trend for the team? And if so, how do you fix it?
I think it's not just a trend conceding late in the first half or in the second half. It's more looking how we concede these moments. I think the message was very clear based on what happened with the third goal against Miami and what happened last week against St. Louis, that the defensive urgency and intensity has to be locked in until the whistle goes. And if you look back, for instance, at the first goal that we can see today, it's from our own throw-in, and we conceded a free kick from this moment, and we knew exactly what was going to happen, and we didn't show the urgency or the intensity in that moment to defend that set piece, and that's when you get punished against a good side like Vancouver is. It has our attention because it's something that has happened now in 3 games in a similar way, and we have to do better, and that message is very clear for us.
Jonathan?
Hi, Pascal. Jonathan Mack from AM New York. I wanted to ask about Matt Freese's performance tonight, 9 saves, and could you kind of highlight some of the saves that he made and what he kind of did for the team tonight?
Yeah, I think that's quite obvious, Jonathan. The best player tonight from our side was Matty Freese. He had a few fantastic, brilliant saves, kept us going, and then it's like I mentioned to your colleague just now, then it's a very hard thing to swallow once you concede the way you do, because he kept us in the race, especially the first half, and then conceding the 1-0 like we did is something that we could have prevented, but his overall performance was very good in general.
Thanks, Pascal.
Hey, Coach, how are you? Scott Church from Stream Punk Soccer.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, obviously in this case, not all negative. Malachi Jones got some minutes tonight. Apparently it's been about 652 days since the injury happened.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about him tonight, the minutes, and what's going forward there. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Malachi. Obviously, we were hoping to be able to use him a little earlier in the season. He joined us again in 100% training during preseason in Tampa and in Coachella. Unfortunately, he had a minor setback, so that delayed a few moments to get closer to game time again. But now he's ready to go. So we were able to give him 15 minutes today, and he will progress from that. But we are very happy and very proud of him, given the fact all the things he went through in order to get to this point again, because he had such a severe injury. But being on pitch again makes him very happy and made the team very happy. So now we have to progress from this moment, and hopefully he has no setbacks to deal with from now.
Michael? Andrew?
Hey, Pascal, it's Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio.
Hi, Michael.
I guess I have 2 questions. The first is relative to Malachi, because you referenced the turf field, and curious if that was maybe gave you any hesitation about bringing him on with his injury. And then the second is with Thiago's injury. I don't know when that was known to the team. It caught some of the media members by surprise. Did you have enough time to prepare for, were you happy with the solution that you had given his injury and the timing of when it was available?
Yeah, well, the first question about Malachi is quite obvious. Obviously, we were always a little concerned about his progression to full fitness again, but now he's not a patient anymore. He is 100% ready to play. We have to make sure that he gets more minutes every time, so his program will also involve second team games. Is something that we anticipate. But today was a good moment for him to come on, and he has no hesitation to play on turf as well, as you could see today. The situation with Thiago, if you go back to the game against St. Louis, he had a minor moment at the end of the game, which flared up again in the beginning of the week, and we dealt with it medical-wise, and unfortunately the call was made near the end of the week that he wasn't able to join us for the game against Vancouver. Obviously, it's my job with my staff members to anticipate these kind of situations, so we were aware that he might not be available for this game. And throughout the week, we planned a different scenario, which is bringing back Raul into the team, move Kai to the right side. Overall, an okay performance from both of them, but I know they can do better, and that is something that we anticipate going forward.
JR?
Hey, Pascal, JR DeBart, Blue City Radio.
Hi, JR.
You mentioned a couple of times in this press conference urgency and intensity, or maybe the lack thereof defensively, and particularly in the first half. From the offensive side of things, what are your key takeaways from this game looking back?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question, because normally we would be able to create more as well with the guys that we have up front. But like I mentioned earlier in the presser, I think in the first half we were a little too hasty going forward, and looking for the moments to go in behind were not as accurate as we normally would be. The second half we controlled the game a little bit, pushing forward, getting them into the final third, and then try to make sure you go for the goal with the moments that you create. But overall, our attacking performance was not good enough in order to rattle the cage on Vancouver side today, and that is something that we take into account in making sure that we do better the next game.